Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And that's why we're excited to be talking about BlueCotton. We're joined by Mike Coffey, founder and CEO, and Julie Denton-Price, co-owner and chief revenue officer with BlueCotton. How are you two doing?
Doing great.
Doing great. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, we have a lot to talk about when you talk about marketing, t-shirts, designs, taking care of your team, helping nonprofits. There's a lot to unpack. Before we dive into BlueCotton, though, I think you each have your own kind of cool storylines. And Julie, on your end, Wheel of Fortune. So share a little of that, and then we'll dive into BlueCotton.
Well, I'm not really sure when I started enjoying Wheel of Fortune, but it was a long journey, if you will. And I always joked, even around BlueCotton, that I would be a great contestant, but I never did it. And then years later, I became a mother. That's how I told my coworkers I was pregnant, is I did a Wheel of Fortune puzzle, but became a mother. My little boy knew I liked it. And so he was about 4 and we were watching it one night. He asked me why I liked it. And I was telling him, and he's like, well, then why haven't you done it? And, as a 4-year-old, he just thinks, you want something, you go do it. And us adults get in our own way of accomplishing our dreams. So I was like, you know what? If nothing else, I have to show him that you do go after it. So I was like, I'm just going to submit an audition video just to say I did it, just to fulfill my promise to him. And then I just went, through audition, and then I got through another audition, and then I went out there, and even on the way out there, I'm like, what am I doing? This is crazy. But it was a great experience. And I got in there before Pat Sajak retired. Didn't win the prize puzzle, which took me out of the end, but it was a great experience.
Well, but chasing your dreams plays into BlueCotton. So let's go ahead and dive in. Talk about, for you two, launching BlueCotton. Give us a little bit of the history, and then let's dive into everything you do.
So I started BlueCotton in 1991. It was supposed to just be a temporary thing until I found a real job. I was supposed to be a CPA. And so I started selling t-shirts while I was waiting for my exam results to come back. And one thing led to another, and I just kept selling them and kept selling them. And our company grew. And before long, that kind of temporary bridge that was supposed to be a bridge to somewhere actually became a bridge to something. It became a bridge to a career here at BlueCotton that's been very fulfilling for me, but more importantly, been very fulfilling for all the different people that we employ. And, now we have about 130 employees. And so we say we're always focused on the customer experience, and now we're really focused on the employee experience. And so it's just been a great journey from something that was kind of an accident to start to something now that's done with a lot of purpose.
Well, you mentioned shirts, but go ahead and talk about where you're located, the national footprint, talk about what you do at BlueCotton.
So we are in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we do custom screen printing and embroidery. So think of clubs, groups, organizations, teams, family reunions, those kinds of things. If you've got an event that is special to you, or a cause that you want to champion, some milestone that you've reached that you want to celebrate, and you want to kind of forever, you kind of want to
memorialize.
You want to forever memorialize. You put it on a shirt, you hand it out to all your people, and they wear it around. And so that's what we do. We mark the moment for these people that have accomplishments, milestones, things they want to remember, things they want to memorialize. And we do that through hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, all kinds of apparel.
We always say, we just met you, but if we said, show us your t-shirt drawer, we could look at it and tell a story of your life. It would tell us all the things that you've held dear, those memories that you've made that you are still holding on to through a t-shirt that you may not even wear anymore. And so that's the type of business we get to be in. Making widgets and stuff like that are very important to whatever they're going into, but the type of work that we do is very meaningful to the person who's receiving it. And it's just fun to come into work today and see those special moments for people all over the country that we ship to every week.
Yeah, that is a good point, looking through the t-shirt drawer, because on mine, you would see, it's a lot of tennis and it's a lot of philanthropies. It's a lot of nonprofits. So to your point, that tells the story of your life right there. But with that, comes in a lot of expertise. And obviously for your team, and this will kind of lead us down the path of taking care of your team, but it comes in sourcing the best materials and the right shirts and hats and those pieces. So the fabrics and the quality there. It comes into obviously the design. That's to me the critical piece of this is the design team and bringing a vision to life. And so then it's the manufacturing side, and then it's a matter of shipping it out and getting it in the hands of the individuals. And so talk about your team, talk about those different phases and the expertise that you all really provide.
So we work with every major name brand in the apparel space, from Gildan to American Apparel to Fruit of the Loom to Nike. I mean, all of it that runs the gamut. So we can order any kind of product for a customer, from kind of even lower end all the way up to high end. We have an art team here on staff in Bowling Green, Kentucky, of about 6 people, and they take your concepts and make them magically appear on t-shirts. We also have a website at BlueCotton.com where you can go onto our site and create your own logo, image, whatever it is, whatever graphic you want to put on the shirt. So it's kind of twofold. If you want to create your own, that's great. If you want us to create it for you, we can do that. So we got great product, great ideas, great designs. And then we have a production facility right outside this window right here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Like I said, we employ about 130 people, and we do screen printing and embroidery, and we're out there all day long perfecting that. We've got about 40 screen printers with various experience, from 25 or 30 years all the way down to people who are in training, to become master printers. We have people in our embroidery departments that have been sewing for many, many years. And so all that comes together. And I think the value of it is it's all under one roof. Our customer service, our art, our production, it's all right here. We have total control over all of it, and that really helps us in terms of like efficiencies and just control over quality. It's all right here. We have eyes on all of it.
And the important thing is, with those 130 people, we have 500 years of experience and tenure at BlueCotton among the 130. So we have, of course, Mike, the second person he ever hired, is still here. I've been here for 14 years. We have people all the way down to today's their first day. We actually have an onboarding today. So there is a ton of tenure in the building who has seen a lot. Screen printing isn't something that's taught a lot of places. We pretty much train everybody from the ground up. So having expertise in the building and camaraderie, and we've all seen a lot of things together, really makes for a seamless process.
Well, let's go ahead and dive in deeper, because one of the things that you mentioned at the onset, Mike, was not just taking care of your customers, but really taking care of your team. And so you all provide the apprenticeships and the training, professional development. There's a lot that goes into the retention and why that's so strong. So go ahead and dive into some of the things that you think really make it special in terms of the culture that you've built.
Yeah, we're really proud of the culture that we have built for many, many years. We're from the very beginning, we were always crazy about the customer experience. Like when I started it, that was my number one thing. A few years ago, I don't know, before COVID, we became focused on the employee experience. And when we did, we really saw how those two things connect. Like happy, stable, committed employees make the customer experience so much better. So we really made a commitment a few years ago to enhance the employee experience. And in the last 5 years, we are both very proud to say that our turnover went from 108%. In 2024, it was 33%. And so that's a gigantic change. And I don't think enough business owners account for how expensive turnover is, because it's kind of a hidden expense. It's not a line item on the P&L. But when you have, like, for instance, and I know turnover statistics sometimes some people don't understand what that means, but we have 130 people. So 108% turnover means we are hiring 142 people every year to fill those 130 positions. And practically of those 130, half of them are not leaving, right? Half of them have just been here for a long time. So we're really hiring 142 people a year to fill about 60 or 65 spots. That's incredibly expensive.
And disruptive.
And disruptive and chaotic, and it doesn't support the customer. It doesn't support the culture. And so a few years ago, Julie and I decided to get very intentional about enhancing the employee experience. And so we've cut that, like I said, from 108% down to 33%. And we've done that through a variety of measures, probably the most important of which is we offer these personal development classes at BlueCotton now, where we just work on just getting better at life. They started out, they didn't really start out as classes that were about BlueCotton or making BlueCotton better. It was just, hey, how can we use our resources just to help people get better? We have a lot of hourly workers, and some of them come from great backgrounds. Some of them come from dysfunctional backgrounds. Some of them had great financial upbringing. Some of them had no financial upbringing. And so we talk about everything from finances to nutrition to leadership to positive thinking. These are the things we work on. And now we've got about half of our people in a 1-hour class. They volunteer for it. When we just work on getting better at life. And that's for her and I and for them. And that investment we did it really just to give. And we didn't expect our turnover to go way down, but we should have thought it would, but that's not why we did it. We did it just to do the right thing by our people. And in addition to that, we also made a really heavy investment into Bitcoin. You might see some of that on our website. There's a lot of press releases out there about what we've done with our Bitcoin initiative, but we invest in Bitcoin and then we give it to our employees. All you have to do is stay here 5 years. And so we made a heavy investment in Bitcoin back in 2022, and that has grown like crazy. And so our people are invested. They feel like they have equity. They feel like they have something that they can hold on to. And so I would say those two things have been our biggest driver, but we've done a lot of other things in terms of our culture. I'll let Julie speak to our talent and culture, and some of the other initiatives that we've done.
Well, and I think it's important to say that business owners will understand this, but culture is great, but if you're trying to keep the doors open, that isn't always the focus, right? It's the customer that you're trying to go after. So I understand why the employee experience doesn't always just ride in parallel with the customer experience. But when we started experiencing some success, we just had a very frank conversation that yeah, that's great. But if everyone else isn't thriving too, then it's just not as fulfilling if we're the only ones winning. And so we had done some stuff with our people, and it was very evident right in our face that our people weren't thriving. They were merely surviving. And that's not a financial thing. That's just a life and an outlook thing. And so was really this focus of we've got to help get these people to look up and see the things around them and have more of an outlook on life and try to start accomplishing some of their dreams. We thought that when they do that, they bring that person into BlueCotton. They take that person home. They're better partners and spouses and husbands or parents and whatever that looks like. They're that person in the community. And so it's that's just the people that we want to be around anyway. So let's bring that to the table. Then the financial stuff came in with the Bitcoin, giving them something to hold on to. We have a screen down here that shows them their share price every day and what they are working towards. But all that brought in camaraderie, engagement. When they were here, I heard Rick Pitino, whether you like him or not, I heard him say, when you play for the name on the front of your jersey, the name on the back benefits. And I think that that's what happened around here is when we got everyone playing for BlueCotton and coming together and helping and doing more than what was asked of them or on their job description, then they have all benefited outside of that, whether it just be personally with engagement and relationships around here or financially. Mike has put together a great series that I think he's about to completely revamp, but it's just talking about financial discipline. We walk through with people how to read your pay stub. You would not believe, or you might, in this digital world, people don't look at their pay stub. Just money goes into their account and money goes out. They're not looking at it. So how to read your pay stub and what all this looks like and what's the investment from you and what's the investment from your company? What does the government make us do? How to, do a budget, how to invest. He set up an investment account with one of our groups recently, and he's funding one, and they're going to get to pick the investment soon, just to show people it's not scary to do these things, but you have to start somewhere. Yeah. And so just giving them an outlook, but it's just amazing the work that they do. And again, that's not why we did it, but it is a direct benefit of this engagement of just humanizing the employee getting to know them and what are their struggles and what are their dreams, and doing something that meets the need and what that's brought to not only our company, but our customers for sure.
Yeah, it has just changed our culture. I mean, it's unrecognizable from 5 years ago. There's a positivity in our business, and I'll give a shout out to another Nashville native, but John Acuff is an author in Nashville. You may be familiar with him. We read his book Soundtracks as a company. We read the book Soundtracks, and it's about positive thinking and self-talk, and like we stress that that's one of the first things that we start with when we do these personal development classes is you've got to have a good conversation in your own head. And so we've just used resources from all over to talk about management, leadership, finance, nutrition, all these different things. And it's made all the difference in our culture, which makes all the difference for our customer.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great example, a perfect one on when you invest in people personally, professionally, it takes off and all of a sudden the sky's the limit, right? And so carry that into some of the things philanthropically, when you talk about carrying that out of the walls and being more involved in the community through volunteerism, serving on boards, working with nonprofits. Obviously, nonprofits are a big client base when you look at t-shirts and sales and merch and hats. But talk about the interface of working with the community and nonprofits and why that's so important to BlueCotton.
Well, like you said, we work, anyone who is using a t-shirt, like that's kind of our target audience, or when people come together. Nonprofits are definitely a part of what we do. We have a lot of people here who have their own philanthropic interests. I would go back to what we just talked about, though, of by making more responsible and fiscally minded employees, they now can become philanthropic on their own, and they all have interest. One thing that we do at our Christmas party, we had a valued team member who passed away from cancer, and she was just a great worker. And so we set up an award in her honor, and we give that every year to an employee. And the award is really the honor of being named that recipient, but we give them $1,000 to donate to a cause of their choice. And so, yes, we work with a lot of them. We have a lot of board seats, and we're in the community doing stuff, but really it's just making it strong employees who can go out in the community and be strong individuals and follow their passions there.
Go ahead and wrap up with website information on where we can go to learn more, make purchases. So where do we go to learn more and get involved with BlueCotton?
Yes, well, BlueCotton.com, you can learn more and make purchases there. I would, if you're interested about the content we spoke about today, I would go to our About Us page, and it outlines all the things that we do for our employees. Mike and I would love to speak with you about it. It's Mike@BlueCotton.com or Julie@BlueCotton.com if you want to email us. We've talked to people all over the world, quite frankly, about things like this. And then LinkedIn, so Facebook, Instagram, all those places, just BlueCotton, we're on there and put out a lot of our content. We would love to have people join us in this type of work.
Absolutely. Well, Mike and Julie, thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks a lot for having us. We really appreciate it.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.